5 reasons why you should buy shares today, or should I call them stocks or equities. By the way, those 3 names, they mean the same. Shares or stocks are the same, okay? Now, today I'm going to give you 5 reasons why you should buy shares today. This is good just in case you're watching me for the first time and you don't know, hey, who is this guy talking about investments? I make such videos each and every day, educating people. And I always tell people, not because I know everything, but because there's something that I know. And I also believe you listening or watching, or both of them, you also have something that I do not know, that I may wish to know. That's why I tell you, kindly leave a comment on the comment section. Educate me, let us educate each other. All right? And don't forget to subscribe. Let's get into the business. I love saving time. Number 1, why you should invest on stocks as we speak right now. By the way, before I even say anything, how many of you here heard of an MP called Dindinyoro talking about the stocks and why he was encouraging people to get into the stock market? And of course, he gave a very, very deep analytical statistics as far as the stocks are concerned. He was picking up some examples of banks, how much they are worth on the paper, and again on the book, that is, and again they were saying this is how much they generate in terms of profit and what have you. And people were so intrigued. Guys were calling me, asking me, hey Joseph, this is what you've been telling us. Wow, we are so shocked and what have you. Sometimes we say, hey, not until you hear the information from another person, you may think, like in Kenya we say story is a jabber, meaning I don't know even how I can say it. Tell me what the story is a jabber in English. Anyway, number 1, shares are doing great right now as you speak. Shares are doing fantastic. Okay, reason number why you should buy shares is that stock market, or shares market, however you call it, stock market doing great. All right, remember, there were some statistics that were released at only now 1.9% of adults in Kenya, they have a CDS account. Remember, that's an account that you need for you to buy shares. In short, we are saying, or in short, that a reporting was saying that the stock market is underexploited, especially by the locals, meaning the Kenyans. And the foreigners are coming in, investing, and they are benefiting, and the locals are not just, they're just there. There's nothing wrong with having the foreign investors. We need them. All right. So the point here is this: buy the stock market right now. Why? Because the stock market is doing fantastic. I remember, I don't know whether it was 2 years ago, Nairobi Securities Exchange was voted as the worst performing stock exchange on earth, not on African continent. On earth, again, our shilling was one of the most, I don't know how can I say this, depreciating, going down and something like that. Within a year or less or so, our shilling was the best performing, not only in Kenya or not only in Africa, but globally. And right now, it's holding still. Number 2, the stock market in Kenya was the best performing. I mean, it's sort of like a, roller coaster feeling or something like that. So why you should buy stocks today? 1, because our stock market is very, very doing great. What I can say it is actually there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And the good thing, I believe that is not an oncoming train. It's indeed, we say it's light on the horizon. That is actually, it tells us that our future as far as the stock market is concerned. By the way, if you tell me, and I'm pretty sure that is what any African or any other, citizen or patriot would say. For me, honestly speaking, without any hype, I can project that Kenya will one day become an African giant in terms of the stock market and in fintech, the finance and technology. I remember there was a guy called Vusi Tembekwayo, one of the greatest speaker on African continent, hailing from South Africa, a guy that I love most. At this time he said, he's still wondering why Kenya has more banks than South Africa, yet South Africa has more population than Kenya. He was giving an example. I think Kenya has 49 or 42 banks, and South Africa, I don't know, 20 something. Again, if you're a South African here, Miriam, my regular subscriber and watcher from South Africa, you can tell us how many banks do you have in South Africa. Anyway, he was just giving that example. So what I can tell you is that Kenya features in one of the greatest economies in Africa, yet we do not have any minerals. It's basically about service industry. So that tells me, hey, if you get a hold of Kenyan stocks, and again, please, once you listen to this video, go do your own research. You realize what I'm talking about as far as the Kenya is concerned. Recently, I made a video and I told you guys, what do you call them? The African Americans or Black Americans, they're flocking into Kenya. Not only them, anybody, and most of the people are flocking into Kenya investing. Recently, you heard that the UN is relocating the some of, anyway, let me not get there. That is a bit controversial. So the point here is, or let me say it's different from whoever you ask. So the point here is Kenya is doing great as far as the stock market is concerned. Please note that now, okay? Number 2, reason why you should buy stocks today, it is that it's the perfect long-term investment. Sure, stocks are very well long-term investment. First of all, I always tell people when getting into this stock, Let me put that on board. Stocks, good long-term investment, good long-term investments, okay? When you're getting into these investments, you can actually pick it up, for example, for long term. Long term, talk of 5-ish and above years, it can be like, what, in 5 years' time, I want to accumulate a certain portfolio, in terms of shares. Say I want to have, say, 2, 10, 30, 40 million or something like that. So give yourself a target and then be like, okay, if I need 10 mic in my stocks portfolio, then I need to be setting aside Y amount of money. Then religiously do that. Keep on pumping in, pumping in. For me, since I started buying shares, I've never sold them. I just accumulate. I'm still on my accumulation phase. Still on my accumulation phase. Because I wasn't buying shares for short term. No, I was buying shares for long term. Okay, it's for long term. So if you're looking for an investment, of course, with other complementaries, it's not only the shares that you should use for long term. No, there are other investments that you can complement, or rather have it together to complement each other for the long term. Then stocks or shares, it is one of them. When we talk stocks, I love to put all them together with the likes of the ETFs, the index fund. You put all of them together. So it's a very good long-term investment. Number 3, why you should buy shares. Don't forget that is the topic of our today's discussion. No stiff competition when it comes to this Kenyan market. Listen, if you are an American, or if you maybe say you're a Briton, or you're in those so-called developed countries or the so-called first world countries, you realize that the competition is quite stiff. Why? Because the people there are a bit civilized. They know about their stock market. If you go to, say, New York Securities Exchange, it's a little bit exploited. It's the biggest stock market if on earth, if I'm not wrong. So you realize that's been exploited. But then if you come to this side of the global south, the global south, that is not really the case, okay? So I can see most of the guys who've been into the stock market for quite long time or period, whether they're internationally or locally, they are now looking into coming to the global south. And when I say global south, I simply mean like continents of Africa, South Asia, and what have you, and Caribbean or something. Some of these companies or countries have not yet gotten, that opportunity to develop and grow. So it is still a market that I can tell you get in, and then you're probably gonna be one of the, how can I say this? There is one of the billionaires in America, a guy who is very known with stocks. Warren Buffett, is that guy who is known by the stocks. He has been accumulating his stocks for like forever. And one day you can actually end up being there. For me, I'm trying. I'm doing it. I know you might ask, okay, why are you telling us? Why don't you do it? Then how do you know I'm doing it? There was a time I made a video. By the way, you can go check it out on my YouTube channel. I actually had to put a camera and, on my trading platform. I showed you how I buy shares, how I do the thing. Right now, as you speak in front of me, it is my computer showing me how my stocks are performing. I'm not yet like the Warren Buffett, but I'm still accumulating, hopeful and being intentional into investing that. So let us go on this journey step by step, even if you're a beginner, if you're ahead of me in one way or the other. Because sometimes I get to receive calls from people who are more experts than me on the stock market. Like a certain lady I had a call with, and wow, based on how I was hearing she was talking about, she has been into this game like forever, and she knows how to get in and get out and what have you. So the thing here is, this market, the competition is not yet stiff, so you can join in and you can be able to become one of the beneficiary, or should I say the earliest beneficiaries of this stock market. So go ahead and do something as far as that is concerned. Okay, let's go to less competition. That was number 3, less stiff competition. Okay, let's go to number 4. Okay, we are almost finishing up this particular video, so don't worry, hang on there. Now, the other one is actually what we call affordability. This one does not need any introduction. Recently, in less than a month ago, Nairobi Securities Exchange, there was a law that has been there that anyone who wishes to buy shares must buy 100 shares. They scrap that, then they say, hey, you can buy even if it's a single share. That actually made it affordable to most of the people. Even if you have 10 shillings, can you imagine this? 10 shillings. That's an equivalent of 0. I don't know what cents. Just a very, very, that amount that will actually buy you a candy, or candy or sweet. If you in America, they call them candies. Here in Kenya, we call them sweets, yeah? Courtesy of the British, yeah? Anyway, it is what it is. For those who know what I'm talking about, they know. Now, you can buy shares with as little as that. So it is affordable. So the question of, oh, that one is reserved for the wealthy and what? No. You're just giving yourself an excuse. By the way, I have to tell you this. See, failures, they have excuses. Failures will tell you, for example, some of guys, I see them on the comment section saying, hey, stocks. For example, there's a guy who was trying to show how intelligent they are. But then you've never seen something dangerous than when you're a fool and you are confident. Have you ever seen a fool who is very confident? He was saying, shares, I cannot advise people to get into the shares. It's not a good investment because it can fluctuate. And he had a lot of big English words and what have you. Failures come in a very groomed way, Failures, and if you're not smart enough, you can actually be confused by them. Failures, they have a lot of excuses. Hey, I can't buy this. I told you this YouTube channel of mine could have been for 2 people. But the other guy was telling me, hey, for us to start a YouTube channel, we need to have ourselves a camera, some lighting, and he complicated being a content creator to a point I was like, I think this thing, is it true? But I decided, let me just start with what I have. Voila, look where I am right now. See, the same case applies in life. Sometimes I tell people, you don't have to gather all the information about, let's say, some stocks. You have some 10K somewhere hanging, just take it, go buy. Then, for me, I bought my first shares with 3,000. I bought it. I didn't have all the information about stocks. I just bought, then I find out what it is later. Once I'm already in there, because I now be like, okay, there are my 3,000 somewhere. Then I have to know, because for those who are smart, they already have the message. For those who do not get the message, so we say shauri yako. So you are on your own. The last one, it is less to no attention needed to manage it. If you're looking for an investment, for example, right now I'm making my videos. It's only that I told you guys my computer is in front of me looking there, but I don't have to be there checking out because these are an investment. Is money working for you? They require less to no attention. Say you are employed, you just buy your shares, let's say in the morning. Of course, we usually buy shares between the 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. You buy your shares, or maybe if you're to work with your phone, you can just initiate a shares buy, then you're done. Within 2-3 minutes, you're done. Then you go do your own things. So it requires less attention or to no attention at all, okay? Unless maybe you want to buy or you sell, or maybe you're doing a little bit of market analysis and what have you. So you cannot really excuse and say, hey, it's complicated, I have to. No. It requires less attention to none to actually invest. So you cannot really say, hey, I'm busy, I can't do that and what have you. And if you're busy, then you can liaise with your stockbrokers, shooting them a call and asking them, hey, what should I buy and such, or buy me that, buy me such, or sell me that and do this. Okay, so this is Good Joseph. And yeah, I didn't write those two, affordability and they require no time. Just have them. Okay, this is Good Joseph. In case you need my services, that's my number. Give me a text on my WhatsApp for me to guide you. See you the next time.